kept her running today. I figured the spirit box would need a little bit of my satire, Tucker. Well, let's see what we got. Why not? Why not piss Bill Gates off? Fuck him and my phone charger. I'll do what I want. My money.
So it's interesting. Inflation is obviously going up. They say it's a little over 6%. It's obviously.
So it was a pretty good day today. We had we run out probably 8 or 9. We were running 12s. If she's on hot, we could get 18,
no one
20.
likes this except people who have massive amounts of debt that is suddenly costing them less to pay off. But
it's
the
nice.
Person is hurt by
You get Scott coming over, tell you, hey, you work like 2 dudes. And I've got that moniker a lot of places, if not more than that. And it's good when you can prove it, like calculus. You're a 5'5" foot saw guys at night on third shift, and you are one at the end of your mission. Just one. And I don't mean because you've become a 10-arm, 10-leg, 10-eyed ass-kicking monster. I'm talking because Gresham Law.
This is the fastest recovery right now.
And I don't mean to do it. It's like these guys. I could find the same set, same amount of work that keeps the mill from just getting exploded. And you can break that down any way you want in the books for details on the person. Time them, watch them a couple of times, get out there on the track. Even me. No, I'm not susceptible to anything different because it becomes Ted and Pete and Schaefer. Giddy up, cowgirl.
So the economy isn't bad. It's just that people are mad because everything is
regionally,
costs a little bit more.
no matter how you do the gravity, what are the numbers going to do? So it makes life real easy in the cemetery. That is the T virus. That is conquest. That is COVID in town. Pete, you let something get away with it and work?
Over at CNN, one of their anchors just
just actions at spooky distance popping up IH in the form of a plank.
All of our milk from China. These people are too stupid to be real. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's nominee to a top Treasury post, a communist sympathizer,
again,
Amarova, is refusing to say
when you have somebody, when you have a grader,
are bad for the country.
Right, you have a grader before. I've cut treads. You have, Scott telling me about all kinds of mills down the line if you got graders and stuff and doing the thing.
Senator, that's a tricky question.
Well, we got into it about Wagner's being competition and that.
It's probably bad for America. It's not my expertise.
So there's ways to do it in the conversation. It's a blue phase in the office of a rookie that is moving with after they're 90. Can't do shit. I don't care about any rule on the planet where you want to be, where you could be, what you want to be. I could tell you firefighter, alien spacecraft driver from that mill.
Therefore, ending the energy industry, which, by the way, is our last functioning sector of the economy.
From there, you begin. All right, so you're at Shetland, unicorn, right? A monkey riding a unicorn on a rocket ship, something like that. And at that point in time, I can actually. Here is a form for it. This is your specific form. A lot of that's forms that you already have done, but they're loose lit, consolidated. Bark and yield numbers. What do your X-ray vision to the shitty board or the shitty log would be a shitty block rolling in once I knock off the heads on it or pull off the bark, because at that point in time maybe you toss it in there, and the speed of blue comparatively to red is particle 1 to particle 2 in some time delay and stuff, but it's ball 1 and ball 2 to one another, they're still the same force. And so you can do that with training guys, especially when you do that for maintenance, and you know that is the hard line. That is your mainline book numbers, because they're mats. They're mats out there on the floor. Matt correlates that with Scott. Scott correlates that through Pete. Ted would be, but Ted would be the main gatekeeper under negligence, work fraud, time fraud, harassment, and negligence, I do believe, because it's going to be his standard. Is it negligence? If it's work-related, then the electron is 0. If it's some kind of sub-function of the main mass gap, then it became 1. We knew about it. There's a squishy zone for it, and all that's in the science phase before you could say, well, there in that case, it was not 1. It was not the right ground formation of the chainsaw on the outside cants. You're coming at it backwards, it kicks up, and that's when you actually see the plank coming at you because boss is watching you at that point in time. Clank. But they're little things. I mean, Derek come over to me today. I've used a chainsaw a lot. You get used to using the beast, and it's beat on oil and you're out in the middle of the woods. You don't care how many times you pull that thing, but they do. And it can make little frictions in the thing if you don't know the proper button formation of that. I've always went up with the throttle to choke it out. And then when you go to start it, it's yes or no, 0 and 1. And, and then there's a wrong technique to it, to the arborist, which would be like doing it in front of the winter Russian judge turning corners for the military games, right? Oh, it's got some charm. And in that way, man, X's and O's on the battlefield. You're taking this post right here. You're hoping the imaginary gremlin that is in there, some shitty board or something like that. Oh, overfeeding red, something like that. Is the X and O, so what's the formation? Well, in this model, we slowed down the step ratio, put them on a diet. That means boards can't cut. That means physically there's a blinky light up there that correlated to plank down there. If there was a saw speed, or because there are so many shitty ones, 1, 2, 3 in a row, 2 it can handle, 3 it won't. And maybe on 2 if it's a gnarly, nasty or special type of wood or something like that. And in that way, you have 22 caliber, 500 Magnum, and a rifle. Some of that's going to pass through the ballistics gel, obviously the 500 Magnum, and the Lapua, but maybe not a 22 long rifle and a 22 hand caliber. And then you would still see, wow, that's what the barrel distance does on mass for powder charge, separate cross out the powder charge. And then you're back on the stone mill with the 1s and 0s. You get to the board stacking position, which can be an edger. It can be a saw type of a thing. I'd see that in a block or a stack before I go cut it up. And then so I'd orientate the burn when I'm going to burn it on the tables differently, or how you set up the pallets to a table for a tread line, something along those lines. And, even with like table cutting, it's like you might notice that, oh, these are smaller rips. The table's brand new. And when the table's new like that, if you're running too hot, 10, 10, 50, it's like breaking in a blade wrong. And so what'll happen if you're not going 5-5 or 5-5, 50-50 or 10-10, 25-25 for speeds and feeds, the drop ratio, how much it's cutting, how fast on 10 it's going, you will kick that thing. And, for me, I'm on double operating phase times anyways. I'm not just going to watch you hit the cut and run the operation. What I know, I want more. I want to take out Bowser, that 2-foot mud puddle stack right there that is no man's land. And it takes 2 hours to go at it dry when I'm going at it. When I'm cutting like that and I'm burning, I'm going to make a pile of mud there. It'll stack up. But when I don't have that, or I've got so much rock burnt out that I can't physically load the table by the time it finishes 2 cuts, I put one to the table or a stack of them to the table, and then I'd start feeding off my extra until I had enough to domino it. And then I'd come through, catch the mud, and in that way, it's this black hole. Pretty much take everything down it. At any rate, and you get into that kind of mechanics. You'd say it's reporting. What I did is an ROTC would be an imaginary superposition in that position. And I take this guy and I go, what is first thing I got to do to start graphing this? And you go, well, there's going to be a real position in the map. Even if it's in superposition where I'm standing or where somebody else is standing, because math, the matrix on that one. You can again graph those, because like I said, they'll become the legend in that spot. They will be at the mark, at the peak, pretty much Bones Island when it pops up into the photon. Well, when Larry used to do that operation, or whoever Law was, Doomslayer with the chainsaw, and that is what it is. So, pretty cool today. I'm having fun.